Okay, so we're going to get started with our breathing. Today we're going to do Ujjayi breathing. I am going to ask that you attempt to take it throughout the whole of class, just because it helps us bring our awareness more into our breathing, but I also find it is a bit warming for your system, I suppose, because there's more effort than just breathing naturally. Okay, so what you do for my newbies is you close off your throat just slightly, so that you're creating like an ocean sound in your head, really. So it'll be in and out through the mouth, closing your throat just slightly so that it's just restricting the airflow, and then you should start hearing yourself like Darth Vader. It's Darth Vader breathing. Ta-da! Okay, so we're going to start off with our Ujjayi. Your hands can be on your knees or in your lap. Make sure your tummy is tucked, pelvis is under, spine is nice and long, and we begin through the nose, out through the nose. I'm trying to go louder so you can hear the noise. Remember, we want to take nice deep breaths, so make sure that you're sitting up straight so that your chest can expand and open up so you can get a lot of oxygenation in. Feel your body relaxing as you just breathe in and out. Continuing with Ujjayi, you're just becoming aware that your body is slowly releasing tension as you breathe. Sorry about that, guys. If it makes you feel better, I can hear when the signal conks out, so I won't run ahead until I hear you back on the line again. So today what I want to start off with is actually warming up the extremities. So I've done it before where we've done a bit of wrist warming up and feet and ankle warming up, but someone mentioned that they felt like their wrists take quite a toll, you know, in the downward facing dogs and whatnot. And if we start off warming up, it's not going to be so bad. So I'm going to come sit on my feet, on my shins, there we go. The English word runs away with me. And all we're going to do is place our hands in front of us and we're going to lean forward to get a stretch up the arms. Like so. We get a nice stretch happening up the hands, up the back of the forearms and a little bit into the front, but we'll get more into the front of the forearms in a moment. Make sure that you're still lifting your belly and tucking under and lifting those armpits. So we're not like slouching or okay, there we go. We're not like drooping and doing funny things. We're keeping ourselves quite strong and stretching out our wrists. Come back. Now place your hands, top of your hands face down, but facing in towards you. Straightening the arms, lift under the armpits and lean down on them. Again, this gets very much into the wrist, so you're feeling it in all its like little wrist jointiness, you know, right inside here. Release. Now we're going to be palms down, but the hands facing outwards. Push down, lean forward. Keep the belly lifted. Come back and sit on your bum. And now we're going to put our hands, palms facing up, a little bit further away from us as our bum lifts up so that we can drop our bum further back to get now a deep stretch into, again, like these little itty bits inside the wrist and then up the forearm. Keep the tummy lifted, hips tucked under.
Ask your allergies, why they're such a bother. You feel the melody, sing it if you want. You keep scratching your eyes and you keep itching.
And release. Now, have your hands in knuckles, closed fisted, and we're just going to rotate them around in circles, inwards.
Found your braver and steep in your siesta habit. Came and woke you up at 7, you were trying to have it. Either way, I'm in love.
And then outwards. And then up and down. And round and round. And other direction. And up and down. Open your hands wide and close them. Wide and close them. Wide and close them, wide and close them, and shake them out, round and round, up and down, just let them flop a bit. Okay, so that's getting the wrists a little bit more agile. Then we come over onto our feet. You're tucking your toes. Because it's a bit chilly today, we're going to make this a little bit faster. So on your toes, you're lifting up and over, tippy toes. Back down to your knees, close onto the tops of your feet, lean back. Up, forward, tuck your toes, come up. Oh, you can use your hands if you need to. Tippy toes, come down, lean back. Come up onto your toes, lean backwards, up onto your tippy toes, come back down, lean back. So we're getting both sides of your feet extended. Keep your belly lifted the whole time.
scratching your eyes and we'll keep itching. And I'll always be in love with you. I'll always be in love with you.
Last one, leaning back, and then you can come back onto your legs as normal. Then you're going to lean forward, and you're leaning into your hands, but not too severely, because we're just doing sort of a hand push-up. Imagine that your hands are Thing, and he's just doing his workouts. So we are leaning gently, and push up and down, push up and down. So there's pressure. And take a break. And then we're going to have our hands a little bit ahead of us for funsies. There's no real purpose to it. And you're going to bend your fingers as if they were like little spiders, but you're squeezing them down into your mat, so it feels like you're trying to pull the mat close to you, but you're not pulling your fingers up, but rather just trying to get these like little middle joints to rise up, and then you release. Pull the mat towards you and release. Pull the mat towards you and release. Pull the mat towards you, release. Pull the mat towards you, release. Pull the mat, hold it, and release. Alrighty, so on Saturday we did some of these little jumps to strengthen our arms. We're going to do some more because I'm going to take it a little bit further now. So this is just getting you ready for the hard work. Okay, so your hands are again just in front of your knees gently. We're lifting in the armpits, making sure that these shoulders are rotated into their sockets and the soft part of our elbows are facing forward. Then we're going to be pushing down on our feet, pushing down in our arms. Make sure that your sternum is pulling back so that you can feel like a opening across the shoulder blades. And in that position, push up, bring your knees towards your chest, the feet stay on the floor, and come back down. Push up, make sure you're lifting in the armpits, the soft part on your elbows are rotating forward. We don't want them inwards, but rotating out. Lift up and down. Lift up and down. Lift up and down. One more, lift up and down. Okay, remember this feeling. Okay, so we're going to get into a bit of a vinyasa to keep us warm, or get us warm, so that we can deep stretch with warm muscles. So hop to the front of your mat. Remember to root down with your feet, so you're thinking about your knuckles of your feet, the side of your foot, and the heel of your foot being on the floor, the arches lifting up. So you do that by pushing those areas of the feet down. The knees turn slightly out so that this bum starts activating. Hips are tucked under, belly is lifted. We're going to start off taking our hands up towards the ceiling. Feel them being pulled long. And then feel like your scapula being pulled further up, and so you rise up onto your tippy toes. Back down, up, back down, up, back down, up, back down. Remember to keep sucking your belly in. This is your center of gravity. So if you're finding yourself going up and then flopping backwards, think about pulling the belly in more. Up. Ooh, and I'm going to fall forwards. That time I was like overcompensating. And then back down. And then we're going to melt to the floor. Knees are bending with us. Bend, 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 bend. And then once we're at the floor with our hands, our legs are straightening up behind us. So we're in that forward fold. Make sure the tummy is lifting up, sucking back, the hips are tucking under, and then just take a moment to hang. Bend your knees so that you can place your hands flat on the floor, and we're going to take our right leg back into our lunge position. Make sure your back bum muscle is active. Drop the knee to the floor and back up, down, up, keeping your belly lifted, up, down, up, down, up. Then go all way down. Lean on your right hand and push your left knee out, trying to push your hip flexor more towards the floor. So this right bum cheek is pushing the hips, pushing this hip flexor towards the floor. Bring that knee back into its centered position. Lift the back knee back into that lunge. If you feel like the back knee went a little bit far, you can bring it in slightly. Tuck your hips under, lift your hands up into warrior one. Then we're going to bounce, 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 and rotate the back foot at a 45-degree angle. Trying to keep these feet in alignment so you're not like too far behind, too far forward. Arms are out. Make sure these hips are tucking under. Everybody stay where you are, because I realize when I move, I'm going to end up with my bum towards everyone. So I'm swapping sides. Okay, you go. Okay, from here, you're going to come bounce, 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 and flip your left foot now in. So now your feet are parallel. Tuck these hips, and then you're going to take your hands behind your back. You can grab your elbows if you can reach them. Tuck the hips under and slowly lean forward. All the way until you're in a forward fold. Make sure that these knees are lifted so your quads are active. Now, using your leg and your tummy muscles instead of your hands pulling you towards your shins, go over to the right shin, just suck the belly up more and pull towards your right shin. Go over to the left shin. Right shin, left shin, right shin, left shin, and hang in the middle and bounce up and down. This is a wee ballistic stretch to help us stretch out our hammies a bit deeper. Make sure these shoulders aren't creeping up towards your ears. And we come all the way up. Release your arms. We're turning back towards the left foot and bending it. So now we're back in our warrior two position. Then we're going to bounce, 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 whipping up into our warrior one position. And then the hands are coming onto the floor so that we can take our left leg back into our downward facing dog. Make sure these shoulders are rotating into their sockets and then pushing into the floor, and walk out your dog. Keep lifted in the belly. Okay, and get ready for the fun. So that little exercise we just did was prep for this one. So if you are quite stiff, don't panic. You don't have to jump all the way forward. Just observe me for 2 seconds. So our aim is to bend the knees. You see my legs are behind me. Now I'm jumping to the side of me and back. To the side of me and back. If you're stiff, if you jump out slightly and back in, out slightly and back in, you're still doing fine. Okay, let's go. Bring your feet to the side and back. Keep the arms lifted and back. One more. Woo! And now we're going to bring our right knee up towards our right elbow. The ankle goes towards the left. Drop it down onto the floor and wiggle your back leg backwards as we go into our pigeon position. Remember, here you want to keep your hips tucked under and your belly lifted, and then come down onto your forearms and stretch out your bum. keep trying to relax more and more into the position. The more you breathe, the more you trick your body into relaxing. And now all we're going to do is take our opposite hand, so it should be the left hand in front of us, and turn to look behind us. Keep lifting in the belly. And now we go over to the other side, so the right hand extends out so that we can turn and look back behind us. The ball's in my way, but you get the idea. Come back to your centered position. Place your hands nicely on the ground. Tuck your back toe. Get ready to lift with your coccyx. So you don't want to let your back go into an arch and your belly not work and then do funny things. You want to lift your belly, push down with your arms, and lift the bum first. And come back into your downward facing dog. From here, we're going to tuck the hips under, pushing them forward as we lean forward into our plank position. We're going to go chaturanga into cobra. If you need to drop your knees first, do so. Otherwise, making sure these elbows are closed together. Come all the way down. Then place your feet on the floor. Tuck your chin in towards your chest. Push down in your hands to lift your body up. Feel your sternum being pulled forward and squeeze your bum. Pushing your hips towards the floor. Even the tops of your feet are gently pushing down into the floor. Make sure these shoulders don't come up towards your ears. You push them away. And again in this one, we're going to turn towards our right shoulder and look behind us. Keep squeezing your bum. Slowly go over to the right shoulder and look behind you. Come back to your centered point, tuck your toes. Again, think about lifting with the bum first. Up into your downward facing dog. And the right leg comes forward into our lunge position. Back knee drops towards the floor and back up. 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 And then towards the floor and you leave it there. Lean on your left hand and push the right knee away from you. Keep your hips tucked under. Make sure you're squeezing your back bum muscle. Bring your right knee back into its position. Then lift to the back knee. Pull your foot in if you need to a little bit. And get ready to come into your warrior one. So you're pushing down in that front leg, lifting in the belly. Arms are pulled up towards the ceiling. Then we bounce, bounce, bounce. Back foot goes out slightly to a 45-degree angle as our hands extend out lengthways. Make sure your hips are tucked under. And I've done it again, so I'm just readjusting myself. And then we're going to go bounce, bounce, bounce. Right foot turns in. And then we're going to tuck the hips under, lifting the belly, and we're coming forward. This time the hands are hanging onto the floor. Lift your belly, squeeze the knees up, and hang. Bend your knees, keep the belly sucked up, and you're going to push with your hands to push your body through the legs more. And then you're going to try and straighten them again. Make sure your shoulders aren't coming up to your ears. Gently lift up, straightening the legs. Place your hands down on the floor in front of you, and you're going to be leaning forward on them so that we can come up onto our tippy toes and back. Tippy toes and back. Tippy toes. You want to feel your tummy really pulling up towards the ceiling as you lean forward. So you're leaning into the hands, the armpits lift, and as you come forward, the belly pulls up even more to get the bum up. Pull. 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 Pull and hold. And release. Now I've got to try and remember where I was. Oh yes, I'm facing this way now. Okay, so we're going back towards our right leg, swiveling into our warrior two. Make sure these hips are tucked under, lifting in the belly. Bounce, 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 bringing your hand forward and swiveling your back foot back into your warrior one position. Hands come down towards the floor. Back leg joins the front leg to hang in forward fold. We're going to grab our ankles. Think about your sternum being pulled towards your ankles as opposed to your head. And slowly bending the knees, pulling yourself up, 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 up towards the ceiling. Feel your arms being pulled along, your bum is squeezing your hips forward. And bring your hands back into their prayer position. Whew, well done, guys. We nailed it, yay! Okay, so you can come back up, come back onto the floor, into your seated position while I readjust my mat so I'm right next to the wall. And we're going to start in our Baddha Konasana position. You can have your heels as close to your forksy or gentleman bonnet as you can get them. We're making sure that the hips are tucked under, not like arched, tucking under, squeezing the bum towards the floor. Interlace your fingers around your toesies. Let's take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, you're going to pull your sternum towards your feet. So deep breath in, and on your exhale, come down. You go down as far as you can, keeping the belly tucked under. And we're just going to hold this for a moment. Breathing, trying to allow your body to just relax more into this pose, stretching out the bum muscles, down the sides of the legs. You might go into your shins and your calves. Just let it be. And then very, very slowly, we're going to start loosening, coming up, allowing our bodies to come back up into a normal seated position. Let your legs pull in and straighten them out in front of you. Whew. There we go. Arms up towards the ceiling. Feel them being pulled long, lifting in the belly. Imagine there's a ball in front of you. You go up and over that ball to reach for your feet, your ankles, your calves, whatever you can get to, and pull your sternum towards your ankles. Keep the belly lifted. Gently come back up to seated. We're going to place our hands behind us with our fingers facing in towards our bum. Actually, let them come slightly out. You're going to have to measure this against where your butt is, because you don't want your butt in the way. So see where your bum is and then take them back. Okay, your feet are coming in towards you, so you don't want them right up against your butt. You want them at a fair distance, but your first little tabletop position will tell you whether you've got them too close or too far. You're pushing down in your arms, making sure that you're lifting with these armpits and not slouching down. Pushing down, tucking the hips under, and then you're pushing your feet into the floor and lifting up into tabletop. From here, we want to swoop back down and we want to bring our bum through our arms. So you've got to push more and tuck your belly more to help lift you through. Okay, pull through it back into tabletop. This time, we're going to bend our elbows to do a little bit of a tricep dip. So you bend back, push up, bend back, push up, bend back, push up, and then suck that belly as you bring your bum through your arms. Come back into tabletop, tricep dip, 2, big. This is 2, then 3, and then suck the belly and push all the way through. Come back up. Should be squeezing your bum must burn, your feet must be pushing into the floor. Triceps, 2, 3, suck that belly, push down with your arms to get your bum through. Come back up, triceps, 2, 3, suck that belly, and back through. Now we're just going to drop our bum towards the floor and back up. Squeeze the bum. Bum towards the floor and back up. Squeeze the bum. Bum to the floor, back up. 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 Suck that belly back and pull through your hands. Well done, guys. Nailed it. Whew. From here we're going to do a little bit of a back roll, and then we're going to go into Halasana. So again, if you've got a nice little piece of furniture or a wall near you, my new favorite Halasana is actually my feet on the wall. And so with Halasana, the plow for my newbies, our toes are trying to get onto the floor behind us, but actually having a wall nearby so that you can pop your feet a little bit higher up and then push against the wall. It gives you that nice feeling of that belly lifting, as well as opening up the lower back because you've got something to push against. So I think you might be able to see me against my little counter over here, so I'll do it in a second. Okay, so we're going to do our rolls first. So make sure you're tucking your hips under, sucking your belly back. You don't want to be in an arched position. Round. Hold onto your knees, and you can even push your knees gently into your hands, which helps give you more of that rounded position. And we roll backwards, keeping tucked, and forwards. Back and forwards. Back forwards, back and forwards. And this time we're going to go all the way back into our plow position. So we go back, bum lifts, and here is, okay, so if you can see my little cupboard here, I've kept my legs actually high up as opposed to dropping them to the floor. Onto the container or the wall, whatever you've got, hands behind you, and you push your legs into it, and it feels so nice opening up the lower back. If you don't have that nearby, you just carry on in your normal halasana with your feet on the floor, sucking the belly back, hands on the floor, make sure your shoulders are pulling down and not sitting up towards your ears, and relax. Make sure your chin isn't dropping towards your chest and making you feel like it's a little bit difficult to breathe. You want to keep your chin up. The more you hold this position, the more it allows you to pay attention to where you're holding possibly tension or stress. So you might find that initially you're like straining in your shoulders, and then once you hold it a bit, you realize, oh, okay, I can release the shoulders, suck the belly, but I don't have to work so hard. Pull your knees in towards your forehead, and we're just gonna roll back up again, like it was nothing, right? Okay, twisting out to the sides, we're opening our legs in a V-leg position. Make sure again these hips are turning your legs outwards. You don't want your feet flopping in, rather out or parallel, but not in. Tuck the hips under, and we're just gonna lean forward, just as far as you can go. And you can open your legs as wide as you can. My legs don't just yet open up super wide. But you just go to your most comfortable point. Try not to go to a point that it's too much, and sometimes you can end up getting like a little cramp that comes into your glutes over here. You've gone too far. Bring your legs a little bit closer and then continue. And just start playing like a grandfather clock, I suppose. Little dingle dangle that sways from side to side. Keeping the belly lifted. Try not to arch your back or do strange things. Try to stay very relaxed as you just lean side to side, like you're like boom, boing, boing. And now remember to tuck a little bit more. We're going to use our elbow to push our body sideways as we lean out. Let's all go over to the right side, then we won't get confused. So right arm pushes against the inner thigh, left hand comes up and over and reaches for the left and the right foot. Now if you can grab your toes, grab them. If you can't, you just hang there and you feel a nice side stretch. For my more advanced, you can grab your toesies and twist through. That's a really delicious side stretch. And then if you push your toes into your hands, it pulls the stretch a little bit deeper. So it's going up the side of your body, up into your arms, and then you're also getting more of an active stretch with your right leg. Gently release and come back up. And now we're going to go over to the left side. So the left elbow now pushes into the left thigh. We're keeping our belly lifted, tucking these hips under, and the right hand comes up and over. Again, if you can't reach your toe, just sitting like this is a beautiful stretch. Really good. If you can reach your toe, you grab your toesies and you pull yourself through. And then here, if you want to go a little bit deeper, you push your toes into your hands. And gently come up again. This next one feels clumsy, especially if you're not like splitted, but it's a fun one to play with. So just don't take yourself so seriously, have fun with it. So we're basically trying to rock up onto our arms. So remember, we're keeping our shoulders down, we're rotating them into the sockets, and we're pushing down with the hands, lifting so that the sternum pulls back. These legs, if you're not in splits, they get in the way, but it's just fun. So you're just rocking, you're trying to lift your bum up. Lift your bum up. Lift your bum up. Lift your bum up. If you're struggling, that's fun. That's part of the fun of it. So just go with it. I mean, I used to sit and yep, I nailed that one. And that's perfectly fine, because the more you practice these things, the more you're able to get moving. So even if you're like, I can't even get my legs there, it's fine. Just play with it. Push yourself up. Push yourself up. Push yourself up. Push yourself up. Okay, take a break. Now we're going to go side to side. So I'm serious, you're taking a break while I'm showing you. So you're just going to play. Have fun with this again. So your hands are on both sides or each side of your thigh, and you're going to tuck the hips under, lift in the belly, and push yourself up. It's really just getting our arms working. Go over to the other side, push yourselves up. If you only lift like barely anything, as long as you're feeling that you're trying to push down in those arms and you can feel it go across your shoulder blades and down your armpits and you're keeping lifted, you're nailing it. Okay, so let's go together. Let's start with our left leg. We push up and drop down. Right leg, push up. Keep your belly lifted. Keep tucking these hips under. If you go into an arch, it almost makes it impossible. You've got to keep lifted. You've got to tuck under. Push. Right leg, push. Left leg, push. Right leg, push. Left leg, push. Right leg, push. Left leg, push. Right leg, push. Boom! You did it. Bring your legs together. Whew, they're feeling a little bit fierce now. So we're going to come back into our froggy position and lean forward. That should give your hips, the kind of area, a little bit of relief. Whew, after all of that wiggle, wiggle, jam, jam. Bounce and bounce and bounce. Keep your belly lifted. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And now what will also feel spectacular is a spinal twist. So we're going to go, if I face you, I think it'll be a nice, okay. So let's start with our left leg, comes under us, while the right leg turns and comes over your left knee. Make sure that your bum isn't lifting up, but staying seated on the floor. This left foot, yes, the left foot, isn't under the bum, so it's not holding your bum up. It's just to the side so that your bum has space to go down. This right leg isn't like dropping out sideways. It's trying to stay in its socket and comfortably held there. Okay, then you're going to tuck your hips under, lifting the belly. We're going to take our left hand and it gets pulled up towards the ceiling, and then we're going to do an exhale. So breathe in with me, hold it out and twist, bringing your left hand over. You can have it straight out, touch the floor, or you can grab your bum if you can, and the right hand helps twist you more. Keep sucking your belly back, because the more you suck your belly backwards, the more it allows that twist to happen and makes it a bit easier. Just watch this leg though. Don't let it go too far to the left or too far to the right. You're keeping it in its socket, sucking your belly back and twisting. Remember to breathe. For anyone who's more advanced, feel free to go into your bind. And again, the more you breathe and hold this posture, pay attention to what can you actually release. So you might find like the bottom leg was maybe holding a little bit tight as you're twisting, but realize you don't have to actually hold it. Feel where in your spine you're holding a bit of tension, or even in your shoulder. Are you squeezing the shoulder, or are you relaxed here and twisting with a sort of calmness in your body? Gently release, and now we'll swap over. So now the right knee or the right leg is going to come under as the left leg comes over next to the knee joint. Make sure again you're not sitting on your right foot. This hip, you keep it in its socket so it's not leaning out or leaning too far forward. You're sucking your belly in, your right arm comes up high. We're going to take a deep breath in, exhale, and then twist. You can place your hand on the floor or grab your bum, and the left hand comes behind you to help you twist a bit more. Remember to relax these legs, don't let them sit in tension, just release and keep sucking the belly back. More advanced people, you can go into your twist, now I've gone blank. This one. Bind. You can go into your bind. Remember to keep breathing. And gently release. We're just going to stretch out the shoulders a little bit so you come onto your hands and knees. Have your knees a bit like hip width apart so the knees aren't closed right up into each other. These feet are going to gently push into the ground. So it's okay if initially they're slightly lifted, if you find yourself like, ooh, what's happening? But remember to push them into the ground. It helps you remember to activate the pelvis and keep it tucked, lifting in the belly. Then we're going to walk our hands forward and start getting our chest towards the ground. And you slide until you find a comfortable position. And this is stretching out the shoulders. Feet are pushing down. Keep the belly lifted. So even though there's an arch, it's not that we're letting go of the tummy. We're keeping the belly working while we're arching. Gently let your chest slide forward. Bring your elbows back. Sit there in line with your shoulders. Push down in the arms. pushing the sternum forward, going into a Sphinx pose. Squeeze your bum. Feel like you're pulling your arms or trying to pull your chest forward. Tuck your toes and then feel lifting in the belly and then release back down. Lifting in the belly and release back down. Lifting in the belly, stay up, drop in your shoulders and push down. Drop in the shoulders, push down, drop in the shoulders, push down, drop your hips towards the floor, back into your Sphinx pose. Push yourself and crawl back so that you can drop into your child's pose. Hands extending long, you can crawl your fingers away. Drop your forehead to the floor, keep your belly lifted, and sit in child's pose for a moment. Back onto your hands and knees. Your hands should be placed a little bit further than in line with your shoulders. We're tucking your hips under, leaning forward, bend your elbows and push back up. Make sure you're keeping your belly lifted, your bum is even active. It's not like squeezing, but it's not just chilling there. Bend your elbows and push back up. Bend your elbows, push back up. Bend your elbows, push back up. Watch these shoulders, make sure they're not coming up towards your ears. Keep them down. Tuck the belly, lift it. Bend, back up. Bend, back up. Back into your child's pose. Stretch your arms away from you. Gently come back up, and if you derobed during our process, pop your clothes back on and you can get a blankie, get your pillows, get whatever you need for relaxation, and we will relax, meditate, zen out for a bit. Well done everyone. I hope you got a bit of a full body workout in there. Okay, so it's up to you whether you'd like to lie down on your mat or sit. If you want to turn the lights off, give yourself cool ambiance and whatnot. And we'll start off with 3 deep breaths. So you breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and as you're exhaling, you're just feeling your body just dropping, like everything is releasing and you're just feeling so chill. So in through the nose, out through the mouth as you drop. In through the nose, out through the mouth as you drop. In through the nose and out through your mouth as you just drop. Pay attention to your breathing, noticing the breath as it comes in and out your nostrils, how your ribs expand and contract, how your tummy expands and contracts. And now imagine as you're breathing Your body is gently relaxing deep down into the earth. In fact, it is sinking through the earth, down through the dirt. Notice little bugs and creatures around you. Maybe observe the earthworms burrowing as you sink. The more you sink, the warmer it seems to feel. Dropping down, surrounded by stillness, peace and quiet. Such a warm, comforting energy that's surrounding your entire body. Imagine yourself coming across a tunnel. So you've literally sank down through the earth and plopped into this perfectly engineered tunnel, actually. Almost like, had you been in Lord of the Rings, this would be something out of Hobbiton. And so you stand up and you start wondering the tunnel system. Initially, it's just straight, but you come across a fork in the tunnel. And now you have to make a decision. Allow your imagination to take over and create these two tunnels, and whatever reason that makes you choose whichever tunnel you're going down. Once you've chosen and you start wandering down this tunnel, imagine that it slowly, progressively turns into beautiful stone steps. And you wander down these steps only to discover this underground utopia. This ethereal looking waterfall sprinkles in the background with exquisitely green lawns and emerald green trees. Everything looks so vivid and spectacular. You take a wander down to the river that the waterfall drops into, feeling the sprays of the waterfall as it splashes into the water below. And allow yourself to dip your toes into the water and feel this magnificent energy start pulling in through your toes. It's warm, it's strong, somehow delicate at the same time, but it feels extraordinary as it makes its way through your entire body. Imagine feeling all your favorite sensations, tasting wonders in your mouth that you love to taste. Allow your body to be filled up with the sensation of things that you absolutely adore. That's what this energy is bringing into you right now. You gently pull your toes out of the river, and your entire body just feels exquisite. It's just such a good feeling that's coursing through you. You decide that in this good feeling, you're going to hop up and start skipping, jumping, running, somersaulting back towards your tunnel that brought you here. You jump up the stairs, one-footed, two-footed, playing yourself a little bit of a hopscotch with the stairs, and wander back down the tunnel. Keep going, wandering back down to where you first landed. And as you get there, your body just starts lifting up through the earth again. Lifting back through all that beautiful, comforting Mother Earth energy. Again, you notice the earthworms burrowing, the different bugs, the rich, delicious soil. Slowly coming back up through the earth, up through the floor, through your mat, until you're back on top of your mat. Still holding in all this glorious energy from that river. You take a deep, deep, deep breath in, and gently let it out through your mouth, allowing that energy to settle in your body. Another deep breath in and out. This time, as you breathe in, bring your knees in towards your chest. And as you exhale, just wiggle them from side to side. Create a little circle with your hips, your knees going around in a circle towards your chest and away again. Extend your legs away from you, extending your arms up above your head, giving your body one last stretch. And gently come up to your seated position. We'll do one Om, and then you may escape. You can have your hands on your knees or into your chest. Deep breath in. Awesome. Thank you, everyone.